Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly. I am here with part 2 of my easy mini album tutorial for beginners. So I hope you're enjoying along and let's get right to it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are enjoying the tutorial. Today we are going to be working on the pages and I'm so excited because these pages are going to come quick and they're going to be super simple and easy, but yet they're going to end up beautiful. As you recall, on the first part we work on the cover, the binding and the hinges. Also we work on the inside, front and back cover layouts. As you know, this is a tutorial for JS Hobbies and Crafts, so I'm gonna have the link to the store and all the supplies that you are going to need on the description box right below the video. So now let's get to the pages. So I went ahead and prepare a little like template of the page that we're going to do, and the construction is so simple. This is a pocket page and it really took 2 steps, so it's gonna save us a lot of time, and then we're gonna build into each one of them so we make them a little bit different. So I am going to start with 2 pieces of 12 by 12 and that's gonna be for 1 page. So let me cut the first one. We're gonna do the first one at 6 1/4 by 9 3/4, and save all your scraps because we are going to be using these pieces to work into our interactive elements or flaps and things like that. The second piece we are going to cut simply at 8 3/4. There we go. So that's all we're gonna do with that, and of course you're gonna need 4 of each, so I'm just gonna show you one and then we're gonna work on the other 3. So for the first larger piece, this one measures 8 3/4 by 12. So I'm just going to score at 6 1/4, just like that. And we're gonna fold right along the score line here. I'm gonna set this aside. And then for the second piece, we are going to place it on the scoreboard at 9 3/4. And we're going to score 1/2 inch. And then you can flip it over to the side and do 1/2 inch again. Okay, so we have 2 1/2 inches on this side, which is going to be how we're going to join the page together. So let's fold along the score lines, and then we're going to add our double-sided tape here. So I'm just going to put one on each side and one here too. Here we go. And then we are going to join it together with this piece. So you want to make sure that your flap is to the top, and this is going to line up with the bottom piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take off a little bit of the tape here to the side, and then we're going to line this up on the other side and just make sure that your corners are centered, and then we're going to press down on the sticky side and take off the tape. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So this one's a lot easier because we already have it centered. So we're just going to take off the tape, and there we go. So now we have a page that will open on one side. We have the pocket page on the middle, and then an empty space there to do whatever we want to do. So I'm going to continue and make 2 more. We're gonna need 4 of these. So now I have my 4 pages ready. We are going to work on each one at a time. Okay, so now let's work on the first page. So like I said, we're gonna be using some of our scrap pieces first, and then we'll cut into new sheets. So I'm gonna use this little piece here, and I'm going to cut it at 8 3/4. And I will also tell you what this measures. So this measures 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. And then I'm going to score the piece at 1/2 inch to create the little flap. And then we're gonna fold along this score line and add our double-sided tape. And this is basically the step that you want to do every time you want to attach any flaps to any of the pages. And so then I'm going to work on the side that has the opening, and I'm simply going to open that to the side and just add this piece on the opposite side. So I'm going to peel off just a little bit of the tape again and line it up here on the corner. And once we have it where we want it, we're gonna press down on the sticky side and remove the tape. So now for the first page, we're gonna have 2 opening flaps like that. And then let's work on the back. So for this side, I'm going to use 2 of my scrap pieces. Now, these 2 are equal. They are 12 inches long, and I will tell you, I think they should all be the same, but I'll just tell you here. This one is 5 3/4 again. So we are going to score at 5 1/2. And then we are going to score at 11 inches. And we're gonna do the same on the other one, 5 1/2 and 11 inches. Okay, so now we're gonna fold along the score lines. And on this little 1 inch flap, we're gonna add our tape. Now, if you want, you can trim this to 1/2 inch, or you can leave it as a 1 inch. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as we have this little accordion piece, and you make sure that you have a piece to attach it here on this side. Now I'm gonna fold this one also. Okay, so before I add this into the page, I'm going to open it up, and I am going to add a little pretty border here using some of my paper punches. And I love using paper punches. They're an easy way to just add a little bit more interest and make your album more elegant. So you're gonna punch the first time. I just basically line it up here on the top, and then we're gonna use these little symbols and just line up to the images on the punch, and that way you get one continuous punch. And this is very basic, I know, but I remember when I first started using punches, it took me a minute to figure it out. I'm going to do this other one as well. And the little paper punch and the die cuts that we're using on the tutorial are definitely optional. You don't need to have them to make a beautiful album, but if you have them, might as well use them. So I'm going to add tape now to add this piece. So I'm just gonna use my small tape, just like that, and this one as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna add these 2 pieces. I am going to peel off my tape, and I'm also going to add a little bit of glue on this little section that I didn't trim off. But if you trim it off, you don't need the glue in there. So I'm just gonna add it on the top and center, just like that. And then I'm going to add the other one on the bottom, and we're gonna make sure that it aligns with the first one on the top. So again, I'm gonna take off the tape and just add some glue, and we're going to line it up and just press down on that, and there you go. So for these flaps, I'm going to add magnets. I love how these open like kind of like accordion folds. I do want the top one to be on, you know, like on the top, on the front here. So I'm going to open that up and just add some of my magnets here. So I'm gonna use this one and just place it right there. And then I am going to add the other one up in here. So I actually don't want to put it here. I want to put it back here because I don't want too many layers of paper in between my magnets. So for that, I'm going to add a second piece of magnets with the sticky side up, and it's gonna glue on this side. So let's just take out that little tape, and there you go. So now this is going to keep this flap closed, and there you go. So now we're gonna decorate using our design paper. So let me bring that out, and I think I'm gonna use this sheet here. That one is so pretty. So I'm going to just start cutting my paper and decorating my page. Okay, so now we're done with this page, and I'm gonna put this one aside, and we are going to work on the next one. So for the next page, I'm going to cut another piece of paper. Now this is again from my scraps, and we want to cut this at 7 1/4. And then we're gonna score on 3 sides, and we're just going to make a pocket in here. So let me grab my board, and we are going to do 1/2 inch here. Then we're gonna rotate and do 1/2 inch, and do the same one more time. And then we're gonna cut the corners just like that and like this. Okay, and this is going to be our pocket. So now we're just going to fold along the score lines. And when I do pockets, I like to use glue instead of double-sided tape. Just it gives me a little bit more time to center it and make sure I have it in the right position. So here we go. So I am going to be adding the pocket on the flat side and not on the one that opens, okay? So I'm going to add my glue and just place my pocket down. So there we go. Some glue here and here as well. Okay, so now we're just gonna line up the corners, and same thing on the other side, and here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my paper. Now I'm using the inside cover, and I'm just gonna cut it at 6 inches. I like making my pages at 6 1/4. That way I can split one 12 by 12 and get 2 pages out of that size. And then we're going to just cut a piece here to make the pocket. And I did not measure this piece, and you're probably working with your scraps, so you probably have a different piece. So sometimes it's just better to do a little mark with your pen or your pencil. So I'm going to glue this down here. And now I'm just going to add this pretty lace here to embellish the pocket as well. And then I'll come back and I'll add some flowers, but I don't want to do that until after I add the pages. And I love making my pages match, so I'm gonna put these two side to side. And now let's work on the back here. Okay, so I'm gonna be using this design for the next page, and I love it so much I want to be able to display the whole thing. So I'm going to grab my next page here, and I'm gonna make this into like twin pages. So basically we're gonna have this opening on the left, and then for the new page I am going to place it like this, so then we have two openings on this one page, and then we can display this piece on top. I think it's super pretty. Okay, so let's just cut this design here at 8.5, and then I'm going to cut this at 6 just so I have the center, but then we're gonna trim this a little bit because these pages here, these flaps, are smaller. So now we're gonna trim about 1/2 inch on this side for this one. Okay, just like that. And on this other one we're gonna trim the 1/2 inch on that side. So I'm gonna flip this around and do this side, and there you go. So now these are going to look like twin pages. So I'm just gonna glue these two down. Okay, so I have those two down, and then I'm going to use this piece here. Now this is from the other set because I am using 2 paper collections, and again I'm gonna cut these at 8.5, and now these ones I'm just going to split at 6 inches. And now I have these 2 pieces, and I'm gonna put one there, and the other one will be on this side. And then I'm going to come back and see how much paper I have left to cover this. I might need to use a different paper to complement. So let's just glue these pages down. Okay, so I have these 2 pages ready now, and I also went ahead and added some of this pearl trim. And so now I'm gonna put them in order. I just love how it's looking already. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the back of this 3rd page, and for that I cut ahead because I thought I was recording but I wasn't. So this piece measures 6.25 by 8 inches, and this one measures 6.25 by 7 inches, and I just want to do like a little cascading page, and we are going to score also 1/2 inch. And we're just going to do it. Bring this out. So along the 8 inches, 1/2 inch, and along the 7 inches, 1/2 inch. Okay, so now we're gonna fold and add our score tape. So now we're gonna peel off the tape, and we're gonna line this up along the top and just add this piece like this. There we go. And then we're gonna add the smaller one right on top of this one. So again, I'm just gonna peel off a little bit of the tape and line it up on the top. And then we're just gonna take that out. And now we have a little page that is like a cascade page, almost like a waterfall, but not really because they're like larger areas. So now I'm going to cover this with my design paper also. So I'm gonna use this design here, so I'm gonna cut it at 6 inches, and then for the first one you want to cut it at 6.25, I think, but I do want to make sure to center it where my flowers end. I don't want to cut my right in between my flowers, so I'm just gonna cut here where my flowers end, just like there. And then I'm going to just take off the bottom part. So I'm just gonna mark it like that, and let's cut right here. Okay, so I'm going to glue this here, And then that little section that we cut from the bottom, which is this one, I'm going to glue that one on the next flip. So just right here. So it will kind of look like a continuation of the design. So let's just add a little bit of glue in there and place this down here. Now on this area you can leave it blank and just simply add a picture, or you can use a different piece of design, or just complement using you know, just solid cardstock paper. Now for this one back here, since I have this whole piece, I'm just gonna add it on the bottom, and it kind of looks the same as well. So now this we're gonna cut at 8.5. Okay, so now we're done with this page. Also we have the twin pages and then these beautiful lilac flowers, and now we're gonna work on the next page, which is our last page. Okay, so for this next page I'm going to start with the one that has the flap, and I'm going to cut a new sheet at 8.75, and I'm basically going to add a couple of more flaps, like an accordion fold, to continue this piece over there. So I'm going to score at 5.5 and add 11 inches, and we're going to fold along the lines. So let's fold here and this other one as well, and we're going to use this 1 inch to attach it into the page, and you can definitely trim this to 1/2 inch if you like. And so we're going to glue this 1 inch piece on top of the edge of the flap here. Okay, so I'm just going to add my glue just like that. You can definitely add tape as well. And again, I'm just gonna line it up with the edge. So I'm going to open it so I can see my edge and just place it right on top, just like so. Okay, so now on this page, we're gonna have this big accordion fold. Now for this, I am going to add a magnet to keep it closed. So I'm just gonna add a magnet on this side. So let's peel off the stickiness right here, and I'm gonna put it on the center, and then I'm going to add that magnet here with the sticky side, so it will attach to this page. So the sticky side up, and at this point I don't know if I need a plus or a minus. I'm just gonna add it there, and perfect. So I need the sticky to go into that other page. So we're gonna close this, and there you go. So now we have the magnet on this page, just like that, and we have the magnet on that page. So now I'm just going to add some of my beautiful design paper. Okay, so now we're done with this page, and I love how it coordinates with the one before. Now we're gonna work on the last one, and so this one, I am going to look at the inside here because I do want to make it coordinate, and I wanted to add a lot of pockets into this album, and I just realized that I didn't. So here I am definitely going to add a pocket, and I'm thinking of doing a side pocket. So let me see if I have a long piece here of scraps, which I do. Okay, so I'm going to cut this piece here at 9 3/4. Okay, and this is a little bit too wide. So I'm gonna trim this to 4 inches. So I'm gonna do 4.5. Okay, because we need a 1/2 inch to score, and I think that should be fine. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and score to make the pocket. Now this is going to be a vertical pocket, and it's going to be on the side. So let's score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Okay, so we're gonna do the 2 short sides and the long side, and then we're going to cut the corners just like we did the other pocket, and we are going to fold along the score line. Okay, so let me put that on the side, and let's fold on this line, and then we're gonna add glue and just attach it to the page. So here we go. Okay, so now let me bring the page over. Here we go. Super simple, and what I love about pockets is you have all these opportunities to make all kinds of photo mats. Okay, so let's just add the glue, and let's do this one here as well, and glue here too. Okay, so now I'm just gonna line it up on the left side, and when I do side pockets like this, I want to make sure that the pocket is facing the inside of the book, because that way it kind of holds your photo mats in place too, and they're not falling out of your book. So it's always good to keep that in mind. Okay, so now I am going to select my paper. Okay, so now we're done with that page as well, and we are ready to add our pages into our book, and then we're going to decorate a little bit more. So let's start with this first one here. So what we're gonna do is just simply take off a little bit of the tape here to the side, and then we're gonna open up the center of your base page, and we're gonna start at the bottom. Just insert that piece in, and we're gonna place it right on top of the score line. So the score line is your guide, because you don't want to press this all the way against your spine. You want to give it that little bit of room where you didn't have any tape. Okay, so that is going to be your guideline. Oops, I just broke my tape there, but there you go. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. Then we're going to turn this to the other side and take out the tape there. Okay, so now we're going to do the same with all of the pages. So now we have all of our pages into our book, and I just love it when you can finally see it all together. I'm going to continue adding some little embellishments here and there. So I am done embellishing for the most part, and now I'm going to start covering all the pages that I left blank with my design paper. So now I cut this piece here. This measures 6¼ by 8½. And when I add this down here, I want to make sure that I still can see the beautiful flowers after, you know, we use this page, and I want to cover this up with pictures. So I decided to make these into like a pocket. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to go around the flowers like this, and it's gonna just create a little opening. So I have this opening now, as you can see, and I am going to glue this page. Now I'm going to leave everything behind the flower open and just glue on the top and the sides. So on the top here, we're going to add glue. Clean that up. So we're gonna do glue here on this top section, just like that. And then we're just gonna go around and around here to create a little pocket on the inside. Okay, so something like that. And now I'm ready to glue this down. And then, as you can see, we have now a little opening where we can add some photo mats. So another easy way to add beautiful elements to your album is to use your scrap pieces and different paper punches that you have, if you have them, use them and make your albums beautiful. So I just went ahead and cut a piece of my scraps, and I am just gonna use this as a tack spot. See all the things that you can do with your scrap pieces. So now I'm just gonna glue this piece down here, and these are little extra add-ons that, you know, don't need to be part of the construction, but you can add these details as you are filling in your papers and things like that. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, as you can see, I am a little bit short here, and I don't like to see all that white space, so I might as well just make it into like a little pocket or a tack spot. So I'm going to add my glue right on this area. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this here on the corner. So another neat thing to do is to use your scrap pieces and turn them into these beautiful journaling pieces. And just by simply rounding the corners, you just, you know, it just looks complete, it looks finished, and it doesn't look like, you know, just a piece of paper. Now it looks like something a little bit more. Okay, so now we are going to finish up by just preparing the inserts that are going to go into each one of the pages. And I'm going to use more of this 12 by 12 cardstock paper. Now this is 80 pounds, and I gotta say I'm really loving this cardstock. Typically I will make my pages with 110 pound, and I find that this 80 pound is very sturdy as well. And I'm just I'm telling you this because I love it. And then also it's very easy to punch through the 80 pound instead of, you know, the 110. It's really hard. It's hard on your hands, and it's also really bad for your punches. So I'm in love with this new cardstock. So okay, so now I'm going to cut the pieces at 8½, and this is going to be how it's going to go into the page. Now I'm going to use a paper punch for my border, and I have this big edge, and then I also have this smaller one, and you can use either one you want, and I think I'm gonna use this one. Now first I'm gonna punch my edge, and then I'm going to see where I need to cut this paper. And I'm doing it like this because you might be using something different, that way you can follow the same technique. So I'm just gonna punch this through. Okay, Okay, so now I have my pretty edge here, and now I'm going to measure to see where I'm going to cut this. You want the whole length here. You need about 6 inches to go into your page, and then whatever much you want sticking out. So I'm gonna cut mine at 6.5. I highly suggest you do one first and then add it into your book and kind of test it out and see if you like how it looks. So I love how it looks. Like, it's not too far out and it's not too much in, so that is perfect. So I'm just gonna continue doing 3 more. So now I have all of my page inserts, and I also went ahead and used some of my scrap pieces to create a little decoration. Even though I don't have enough paper to cover the whole thing, it's always nice to add just a little touch here. So I cut these ones again at 8.5, and I just did 1/2 inch on the width. And so yeah, so now I'm just gonna add these ones up. And now all we're gonna do is add these pages into our book, just like this, and we are done. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I'm going to do a separate walkthrough with the final album, and don't forget to visit the store JS Hobbies and Crafts, where you can get all the supplies that you are going to need to make the project. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.